Right, now we go to the exercise. You should have a file, a QGIS file, which is, when you open that, it should look like that.
Alright, so to supplement the exercise, kindly open the Word file sa training folder natin, no? There's a single Word file sa baba ng mga folders na X1, X2, X3, di ba? Sa main training materials, there's an Word file named Site Suitability Exercise Word underscore rev, and open nyo lang po yan. Tapos, the one presented on the slide is part of that exercise. Okay? So, kindly open that exercise sa page 5. Kasi we have in some introductory lang na definition or present or discussion. Kindly proceed to page 5, exercise 7.1. Directory na bubuksan as same nang na-present dito sa sa slide. Open the QGIS project and make sure that, okay, your QGIS interface will, especially the layer panel, will look like this one. So you can explore these layers. And according to the slide, familiarize yourself with the layers by looking at the legend. Okay, you can click the expand button so you can see the layers inside some layer groups. Ayan, so you can check that. So kindly proceed to page 7 for the calculation. Alam naman natin no how to open the raster calculator. Open the raster calculator and follow the steps on either down the screen or on the Word version document. So the first page 7, lahat yan, step 1 to 5, gagawin po yan. Okay?
And then what I would suggest as a normal routine is to first work with temporary layers, because chances are that the result is not what you want. Then you don't have it already saved. And then when you are satisfied with the result, then save it. So tick the where it says number 2, that you create a temporary layer. Then spatial extent, you should you can select one of the layers there to see what you want to have. So and so that you don't have too big areas for you. Then the resolution, you should see that it is, I think, 71 by 61 or something like that. If it's not already automatically done. And then the more, say, interesting thing is the actual calculation. The calculation is taking the brackets of the damages that you have from hazard, because there's normally a table with a long list, say 10, 15 different categories of damages, and all these are then there in this algorithm or formula expression. You can type that in yourself, but chances are that you are making mistakes, and it's actually quite a bit of work. And you can copy it from the guidelines.
Alright, so remember po, yung nasa raster calculator expression, sa dulo po ng page 7, yan po yung copy natin. Okay, sa baba ng title. Hindi nyo po ito-type yan isa-isa kasi hanggang 1 p.m. tayo niyan. So, copy nyo po yung nasa under AL 50 year. So, make sure included yung mga brackets before and yung hanggang sa divide by 50. Okay? So, meron po dyan na ready to be copied na po yan. So, to check if your layer is correct, the range will be within or from 0 to around 0.2. Alright, so kindly proceed to page 9. Last part of page 8, sorry. So, we're just improving the visualization of the created layer, no? So page 8, improve visualization of the output layer. Kindly follow that instruction, a very short instruction, 3 steps to do that. Okay? Maybe we can give you like 3 minutes to try improving the symbology and style. Again, page 8 at number 3.
Yeah, I think you have done that before in principle, so it should be not too difficult.
Yes, so for number
So-
3, we're going to just copy the style of some existing layer. Okay, i-paste natin yun doon sa newly created layer.
Yeah, I mean whatever colors give you, it's
So for just additional step, so kindly screenshot if you're done with the visualization. Kindly screenshot yung QGIS lang, yung full QGIS map viewer, yung buo QGIS, full screen na lang, including the layers, including the map viewer. Okay, nasa page 9 po. Okay, page 9, quick screenshot po and upload to our day 4 folder. Okay, so rename lang as AAL50 underscore surname. Alright, so that's day 4 folder. Okay, kindly upload doon sa ating suitability or kahit sa labas lang. AAL50 underscore surname. So screenshot yung improve na yung color, okay? Or visualization using symbology. So we'll give you around 2 minutes to do that. Then we'll proceed with the next part, okay? To be given by Olaf.
Yeah, the next step is to combine the different average annual losses for different return periods to one total average annual loss. I discussed before how to do the calculation, and there is also already something to copy. So basically, exactly the same step as before. You open the raster calculator, but the expression is different. You copy that for the to how to calculate the total AAL.
Okay, so kindly proceed sa manual natin, page 9, exercise 7.2. As mentioned by Olaf, for this time, we are going to calculate AAL for all return periods of one hazard, which is yung wind speed. Okay? Same po kanina, same yung method you can recall. So also as a review, raster calculator, etc., etc. The only changes now is the text that you will copy or the equation that you will be copying. Okay? So, nasa page 9, the shorter equation dyan, yun po yung copy natin. Okay? Same lang kanina, and ang nabago lang is yung equation. So, gawin niyo po muna. Page 9. Same pa rin po yung click yung, ano yun sir? Population proxy and use spatial extent. Same lang kanina. Ang nabago lang, check yung create na lang po. Check yung create on the fly raster para sa result layer. And pag okay na yung raster expression, all goods na sir. Click OK. Okay? So, same po, click pop, proxy, use extend. Sa taas, yung result layer, click lang, i-check nyo lang yung, i-check nyo lang po yan. Temporary lang muna. Yan. Tapos, yung maiiba lang ay yung equation. Pag sa equation, valid na, click that. And make sure nasa topmost layer yung bagong gawa, no? Kasi matatakpan nyo ng previous layer kung hindi nyo itadrag pataas. Alright, so eyes on the board na po.
So, I'm displaying here a 3D map with the average annual losses of all the hazards together. That is from Catanduanes, I think. So you see that coastal areas here have a very high annual loss. Also some mountain tops where the wind speeds are high. And in the slopes, it's quite a bit less very often because it's more protected. And you can, it's actually a video. So you can see clearly that the one side of the mountain in Catanduanes has more wind speeds than the other side because typhoons normally come from the east. Okay, you can also, if you want to display it nicely, put buildings there. So here I put a layer with buildings in 3D format so that you can see where buildings are exposed to what type of risk. Yeah, so if you, I don't know, if you want to impress your mayor or so, then you can also present things like this. That is probably sometimes more convincing than the tables with data. I would like to now leave the hazards and we will go to other factors that are influencing suitability. Uh, I have two, as I mentioned before, population proximity and road proximity. And let's go quickly through that. Uh, I think I mentioned already that, of course, the danger from natural hazards is something everybody is concerned. And I cannot imagine that you do a suitability map without the hazards. But for the other factors, you might want to select some that are important for you or your office or so. Uh, so what I took here is the population proximity, and I mentioned already. So in some cases, you want to have a lot of people around you. In other people circumstances, you don't want to have people around. So depending, right, how to do it. We take a population density map, which is coming again from Earth observation. So no, actually only partly. The way population density maps are produced, like this one here, is 1 pixel is about 1 hectare, is that you take the official data, say, for example, for a barangay, and say the barangay you have 1,000 people, but a barangay is bigger than 1 pixel. And so you distribute the pixel, the 1,000 persons in the barangay, normally according to night lights. So you assume that more lights means more people, and so you have a distribution of people according to first the official statistics, barangay or so statistics, and then you take Earth observation data. It could also be, for example, houses that you see with Earth observation data. But nightlights is one of the things that is quite common. And then you get a population density map, but it doesn't tell you how many people are living around a certain spot. And so what we can do is we do some steps to calculate how many people are within this circle. That is here a circle of 1 kilometer radius. So 2 kilometers diameter, which is approximately walking distance. So if you have a shop like a sari-sari shop or a restaurant or so, people are probably ready to walk 10 minutes to your place. But if you are interested in something a bigger area, then you can also simply make a bigger circle. So I don't want to go through this one by one because we also had zonal statistics already in the exercise before. So that would be the same, that you are counting how many people are living within a zone. It's a zone, in this case, is the circle around the point. And then you count how many people are there. And for example, here, only one step. In the water, you are not interested how many people are within 1 kilometer within the water, so you cut off the water. That is just a step here. And so I counted the people within a circle with zonal statistics, and then you come up with a map like that. Oops. Maps like this, where you have, so the reddish area means that are around there up to 4,000 people per in the area around. And if you have a blue area, it is actually relatively sparsely populated, and you don't have many potential customers, clients, or so around. Next is population proximity. The base data are coming quite often also from satellites. So one of the sources that is very commonly used for this type of exercise is the OpenStreetMap. Are you familiar with that? Can I ask who has not heard of or used OpenStreetMap? You used it? No. Okay. The OpenStreetMap is something a bit like Wikipedia. It is done by volunteers. So volunteers are putting in the geographic features of an area, like buildings, like roads, whatever, and that there is a quality control. And then this is put into the internet, and it is downloadable in GIS-ready formats. So everybody can download it. And in the Philippines, you have relatively good coverage of roads and buildings. So I use the roads from OpenStreetMap and made a buffer around it simply. So you see here in southern Leyte, there are areas where there's a road, and along the road to the left and the right, I have here, I think, 2,000 meters or so with the color scheme. So you see, if you are here, you have a road relatively close by. If you are here in the middle of the mountains, no road is very close. So if you want to select a place according to proximity to a road, you can use that. Right, and there is a tool how to get the data from different layers, from different raster layers into a point layer. And that is a point sampling tool, which is a plugin. So the data I showed you before are raster data. So the proximity of population and the proximity of roads. And to have them into a point, we need to sample them. So what we take a point layer and take the below the rasters, and the values from the rasters are then in the attribute table of the point layer. And the tool for that is the point sampling tool. Did you install that already, or can you install it? You would have to go to plugins, the repository of plugins, find the point sampling tool, and install it.
Alright, so again, as mentioned by Olep, kindly install yung point sampling tool. If you want the specific instruction, proceed to page 13. Nasa topmost, yung pre-exercise. Page 13. Okay, installing yung point sampling tool. That's a basic or easy instruction. Diba? Paano tayo plugins, tapos manage and install plugins. Just search point sampling. Okay? Search nyo lang point sampling pag nasa all tab kayo, and just install that plugin. While waiting for the other to install the plugin, yung iba po nang tapos na, please follow yung nasa page 13. Yung after ng free exercise, yung pag-install ng plugins, you can do that. So, similar lang yan doon sa instruction sa board. Pero yan ay para masabasa niyo readable instruction. Page 13.
All right. Now we will use the different values we have to select a certain place. And we can filter by the criteria we are setting. And here, as an example, I say we would like to know in our area of interest where are places with average annual losses of 1% or less. At least 5,000 people live around there because we want to have a shop and we want to have many people around. And the maximum distance to the next road should be 30 meters. So what you have to select on in the table with the layers, the layers that you created, and then you go to the select features function. It looks like this in the icons, and then a small window like this should open.
So select nyo lang po yung bagong gawa, yung other factors that geopackage. Make sure na siya lang yung naka-check ngayon. Yun lang po yung naka-check. Yung pinakabago na create natin, and check natin yung ibang layers. Kindly check yung na-generate natin kanina, yung other factors. Yung mga dots yan. Tsada. Yung may word cover sa dulo. Pag naka-check na, hanapin na natin yung tool, yung select feature tool, yung ganyan yung icon. Hanapin nyo sa menu bar.
So you see all the attributes of the point file, the point vector file that we have, and we use 3 of them to filter. You see the total AAL, I say less or equal to 1 here. The population proximity 5,000 or greater, and road proximity 30 or less.
If you want po na di nyo makita yung nasa screen, page 16 po. Open po tayo sa page 16. Ayan. Yan po yung mga yung nasa, same with the one on the slide. Page 16, number 3. Yan pong input natin, no? Sa all hazard, 1. Prox, that's 5,000. And 30 sa road prox. Make sure to also change yung equation, okay? Or yung criteria. So, less than or equal, greater than or equal, less than. Nandiyan po yung nakabox. So, yun po yung ating iset. So, yung criteria na conditions dito, kailangan yung hazard mo or AAL of 1% or less. Kaya tayo naka 1 less than 1. The population dapat, di ba, at least 5,000 para maraming bumili sa ating tindahan. So, target yon yung 5,000 dapat para at least meron tayong customers. Kaya naman nilagay natin, population proximity of the R data must be greater than 500 people. Lastly, dapat sa maximum distance sa road, dapat less than 30 meter para malapit tayo sa road, no? Accessible siya. So, yun yung criteria. Once you have selected the criteria, click select features. Those pixels, either pixels or points that have pumasok doon sa criteria natin, yun yung ma-highlight. So, dyan dapat tayo magtayo based on our initial result. Yan. Yung mga yellow na yan. Okay? So, either pixels or if ever that's yung output kanina, makikita natin yung pumasok sa criteria. Okay?
If you used exactly the criteria that we mentioned, the yellow dots there should be exactly also what you see. But of course, if you have other criteria or other values, it will look different. And it's, from my point of view, a very easy tool to set criteria and to select suitable places for buildings or other assets, whatever you find interesting. Yeah, I think if you are, how to save your selection, I think you know how to do it, or do you need advice? So if you want to have that separate as a new file, you can also export and then click select that you only selected.
Ayan po, you have selected 3 criteria, no? Of course, for example, if you want to apply it in your particular LGUs or municipalities or guys sa personal businesses nyo, if you want to consider other layers, for example, here, 3 lang pinili natin, you can select other layers. Tapos kayo bahala kung ano yung criteria, no? Or ano yung condition, whether greater than or less than equal, depende doon sa parameters natin. So, pinapakita lang dito yung example na ating 3 criteria na must be met for us to identify if a particular area will suit our particular target infrastructure or business in, for example.
Right. Actually, I'm a bit over time already. So, but so I just wanted to briefly mention the limitations that this method has. Hazard data are not all say at a satisfying quality, and in some cases not missing even. So, for example, we don't have. I didn't use complete flood hazard maps, flood hazard data, because I was not satisfied with some of the sources that I saw, and so I didn't use them. And so it's flood hazard is missing in some places. Another limitation is hydromet-related hazards may change due to climate change. So if you look at long-term investments, you want to know not only what is the type of risks that we have today, but also what the risk will be some decades from now. So there would be another, say, approach where you include climate change assumptions into this type of analysis and see whether the risk is actually increasing or maybe decreasing, depending. I did that, by the way, for another country, that I also use this method, but with climate change assumptions too. Some data may outdate quickly, like population or road proximity. So you have to see that you get the latest to work with that. Vulnerability curves are average data. Specific buildings or assets in general have different vulnerability characteristics. So if you have a specific building or so in mind, or infrastructure or crop, whatever, you would have to see, do you have somewhere vulnerability curves that are reflecting better the vulnerability of the respective asset. I also would like to mention that I assumed that the hazards events come single and not combined, which is not realistic. Sometimes they come together. And another assumption there is that if you have damages to a building, the time until the next hazard event is long enough to repair things. I mean, it's logic. If you have a very severe hazard event and your building is gone and another hazard comes, you cannot destroy anything anymore because there's nothing anymore. So then this calculation would not work. So only if you assume that the distance between the events is long enough so that repairs can be done to reinstall the original state. You probably can also use them a bit in your LGU or university for teaching or something. Right, I'm finished with my part. If you have questions, I'm here, but I'm also later in the afternoon here again.